small town where the rivers run slow, there's a little pet shop that no one goes. With dust on the shelves and a creaky front door, I found my new friend in a cage on the floor. He's a tongue-zapping, dome-eyed, cricket-eating chameleon, with colors that blend like the sunset so serene. I pretend not to see him as he hides in his tree, but he's always watching me. Oh, why can't he just be? Tongue-tied love, oh, we're two souls who exist in this world where we pretend that we don't coexist, with a silent understanding we're happy as can be. Me and my chameleon, oh, how we're meant to be.
The colors changing, shades rearranging like a chameleon. Always engaging, inspiration strikes out of the blue, never knowing what it'll lead me to. Madagascar calling, the unknown beckons, exploring new lands. In time for seconds through microscopes, I see a whole new view. Discovering the unseen, all the things it can do. A million lives that got me soaring high. I found a lead, reach for the sky. Building cages, raising mountains with flowers, and my eyes so wide. Reach for the sky. Building cages, raising mountains with flowers, my eyes so wide.
Hello, Chameleon Wranglers. Hello, everybody. How are you doing this wonderful Tuesday day, night, evening? We are here. Just want to make sure everybody can hear me out there. I think I've got the sound system taken care of. Stephanie's here. Hey. Oh, my goodness. Misty Mountain Fans. Oh, and hello, baby Jessies. Good to have you here, too. Oh, boy. Well, everybody, of course, you know what we need to do. First thing we need to do is check the brevicorn eggs, because that's what we do. And yes, today I feel very bio-duty. Okay, that didn't come out right. I feel very much like representing the bio-duty. All right, let's see. There we go. The eggs are stable. They are not, there is no mold, and so we persist. We persist together, and one day, we will have little baby brevicorns coming out of there, and we will all celebrate. Oh, Chuck Horn, first time watching this chat. Wait a minute, I recognize that name. I know that name. Hello, Chuck. Very good to see you here. And all right, so I am back, and I have survived the Great Grasshopper Expedition of 2024. And oh, hey, Dean's here. Hello, Dean. Very good to see you. So to speak, let's see. We've got to show you. There we go. Yes, last weekend I traipsed across the California Nevada Badlands with this group, and we went and were grasshopper hunting. It was a little early in the season, and I came away. I was able to get all of, well, not many. we this is me and James's first time, and we had quite a quite a time. It being our first time, we had the wrong kind of net out there, so oh well. But we had an incredible time. So I want to say thank you, Dean, for inviting us to come along with you. Dean was doing smart guy stuff, and me and James, we just sit back and go, hey, okay, just watch the look at that guy doing smart guy things. So we had a real fun time. Also in the news, I just launched an episode of the Reptile Entrepreneur podcast. That is, this is on YouTube. Well, the Reptile Entrepreneur channel. I have a number of shows, and or on any podcast provider like iTunes, Google Podcasts, not anymore, YouTube. And this was an interview with Summer and this new vision of what a reptile companion purchasing experience can be like. And Summer has come up with a beautiful brick and mortar location. That's rare. And it is focusing on education and community. And that I think this is the pet shop of the future, but we need a different name for it because it's so much more than a pet shop. Oh, let's see. Hey, Matthew's here. Hello. Genevieve, hello. And Gonza Choke is asking, Bill, do you miss the eggs periodically to hold moisture, or do you just leave it alone? Gonza Choke, I make sure that there's an adequate level of humidity. Now, since the eggs are buried, there's no, I just add it to the soil. So I have some moisture that's in the soil. And I just make sure it's like when it goes through a diapause in Madagascar, the diapause replicates the dry season, which is cooler there. So when I'm trying to do the diapause, I don't keep them as I keep a lower moisture content there. When they come out of diapause, as in I raise the temperature, then I replicate the wet season, and I make sure that the substrate is moist. Chameleon Collective says, glad you made it back from the epic grasshopper expedition. Yes. My goodness, you look at some of those pictures that I put on the Instagram stories. We were in the middle of nowhere. Oh, boy. 3. I caught 3 grasshoppers, Genevieve. Oh, it was early in the season. What? Oh, my God. Did you guys keep any hoppers to breed? I did not. I have a bunch of eggs supposedly from last season, and I'm waiting till it should be this month, the end of this month, that they hatch if I did it right. So best of luck to me. I may have a lot of eggs and a lot of grasshoppers in my immediate future, or else I may have nothing. I don't know. And there we go. James Cross is there. Had a blast. Yeah. Great podcast. Only an hour north. Oh, Annette, you have to go and send pictures. Please go take pictures, take videos, send them to me because I am wanting to get to the shop. I would love to. I'm just trying to come up with an excuse to just fly up and visit this. It's exciting for me because, of course, as I said in the interview, I've always wanted to have a pet shop, but that was just like a lot of people. But that that dream was pretty much shattered by reality of that being a pretty difficult business model. And especially with the internet, it's like that model is gone. But it doesn't mean that we let go of our dreams of doing it. We just change with the times, and summer has changed with the times and has produced the next generation. That's a vision of what they can be in this day and age. And so I am excited. I need to get up there and say hello. So, hello, everybody. Let's see, Joe X. Thank you for your videos. I got a panther chameleon a few weeks ago, and it looks like she's doing well. Eventually, I'll get a microscope to check fecal samples. Glad to join. Joe, welcome to the community. Glad you're here. Glad you found your way here. We have a very nice, supportive community here. And if you get a microscope, then you can join in because we love looking through our microscopes. In fact, I've done a lot of that today. And let's see. I wonder if I can pull up. I don't know if I should go through and try to pull up stuff, but let's see. Can grasshoppers successfully mate with siblings, or do you need multiple groups of different clutches from different gene pool to make the successful grasshopper breeding program? Gonza Choke, ideally you would have different genetics, but when you go down to the insect level, the problems with inbreeding are going to show up later. So you could get away with sibling breeding for a while. What a while is, I don't know. And so I would just say, go ahead and try breed. And once you get your breeding down, even if it's with siblings, then start working on getting other bloodlines. And just do it from the start. We don't know how far you can breed siblings when you're talking about insects, but don't be the one to find out. Go ahead and just keep it as diverse as possible. Let's see. Seth Can says, where are the chamaloons? Hey, man, it's not cool. Are you going to chew? Yeah, everybody. Let's just see how long it takes before Suffocan is just kicked off this live. All right. So tell me what's going on out there and what's going on in your guys' life. Is there any chameleon questions we have? And tell you, I've been working on, I also do the DIY chameleon guys, and that is we have an episode coming out tomorrow morning, and that is going to be all about paint techniques. So when you're making your chameleon cages, this is going to be how to do the painting techniques. Let's see. Baby Jesse's Reptile World says, I met Misty Mountain yesterday. Yes, I heard about that. And excellent. Let's see. Spotted lanternfly nymphs are coming out, and I'm very curious about their nutritional value. That is a good question. I don't know the answer to that question. And Dean may be able to answer that question. But I will not be able to answer that. I don't know. The thing with insect nutrition, it's a very difficult thing because it's how do you test that? And the food that you are given, it just changes. But you're probably asking, is it healthy to feed them from the wild? I don't have the answer to that. I don't have the answer. So Quartz Kitty just got the first baby panther today. Excellent. Very good. You are going to have a fun time. Already have a veiled chameleon and now getting a panther chameleon. Sounds good. Will we get the build plans for the cabinet? Weird Flex, eventually you will. It is, there is a lot of effort that goes into building it, a lot of effort that goes into making a podcast episode, and then there's a lot of effort making a build guide. So they are eventually going to get there. Let's see. Did Matthew share any fun news on the Bo Me Babies? No, not. You know what? I didn't ask Matthew about that. And hello, Eliza. Very good to see you. If the hoppers are inbred, would they be unhealthy to feed? Probably not. We don't. I don't think so, but I don't know. I am not an expert in genetics. So, let's see. We have a question over here from Abby Rad. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. We got, I'm missing some. Quartz Kitties. My boyfriend and I watched your tutorial for the DIY fogger mister, and we've been working on it for 2 weeks. Hoping to get it done soon. Yes, that fogger mister is an incredible thing. I love that. Brought James on and said, all right, you need to show everybody. So Abby Rad 06, I have a question. I have a female chameleon and she's laid a clutch of eggs before. And I made her laying bin, but she decided to lay them in a pot where her plant is. She is ready to lay again. Yes, Abby Rad. Let's say, I don't know if I should get her another laying plant since she laid in her plant, a laying bin since she laid in her plant. Abby Rad, they will do whatever they want to. And I have frequently made an absolutely perfect laying bin. And the panther female just tromps all over the laying bin to get to the potted plant where she lays, the plant that is root bound and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, they've got their own mind. They'll do whatever they want to. I would suggest to you to put in that laying bin and just know that she may use that laying bin. She may use the potted plants. Just give her, the only thing your job is to do is give her options. That is the core of chameleon keeping, everything. Give them options, let them decide. And with laying, it is the same. Let's see. And okay, James got to see the Bomi babies. He's lucky. Hello, Lizzie, 84. And of course, Annabellistic is here. Hello, Annabelle. And Annabelle, you go check Annabelle's account on Instagram, Annabellistic. You get a lot of good acacia stuff there. I'm in Eliza Ann authoritatively says the inbred hoppers most likely develop a large foreheads and a fight arm. Yeah, okay. That sounds reasonable to me. Bill, what is your shirt? Today, I felt tie-dye today, and so I've got my Bio Dude shirt on. Yeah. Let's see. Tyler V says, I lost my chameleon checker today. Very sorry to hear that. Took her to the vet. She plummeted. Yeah, it happened quick. That happens a lot with chameleons. They hide their illness so well that it looks like they just dropped dead immediately. And this is why we chameleon people, we have to learn to trust our instincts. Doesn't mean you will always catch it. In fact, sometimes we don't. But it's one of those things where if you feel something is off, you take them to the vet right away. You take pictures to try to say, hey, vet, this is what's going on. But yeah, that's a thing about chameleons. Yeah. They can be heartbreaking. Let's see. Hello, Top Shelf Chameleons. What do you suggest? Kitty says, what do you suggest as an alternative to dubia roaches? We live in Florida. Currently regularly feeding crickets, silkworms, superworms to my adult veiled. Try discoid roaches. I believe discoid is the Florida dubia. Cephacan says, what would be the easiest chameleons to start with as a pet? Cephacan, there are 2 species that are good for a first pet. The first is the one that I'm going to recommend is a panther chameleon. There are so many good, solid panther chameleon captive hatched juveniles available from reputable breeders. And there's such a wide knowledge base around panther chameleons that is by far the best first panther chameleon to get. You can call up a breeder. You can call up 3 different breeders, and you can talk to them, and you can see if they match your personality style. Do you like the way they communicate? Because they're going to be supporting you throughout this entire thing. Then you can pick whichever panther bloodline you're interested in, or And then once you get your panther chameleon, you have that breeder that's going to be there to support you. There's no other species that has that level of support. Yes, there's like a couple of breeders you can get Parsons chameleon from. A couple of breeders maybe you can get carpet chameleons from. Did I say carpet? Carpet and panthers? Or Parsons, sorry. But the other very good one to start off with, the veiled chameleon, it doesn't have that network. It's easy, it's hardy, it's a great chameleon species, but you don't have a hobbyist community that has spent the time working with it that they have panther chameleons. And the reason is because they're so easy. And since they're so easy, they're so cheap. And the only way you can not lose money hand over fist is if you mass breed them. And so that's what happens. We have companies that mass breed veiled chameleons, send them out to Petco, PetSmart, sell them in bulk to pet stores or people going to their shows. And so the serious breeders aren't really working with them. So that is the only reason why panther chameleons are better than veiled chameleons to start off with. It's the support network. As far as hardiness, panther and veileds definitely up there. So those would be the two that I would say to look at if you want to do a little bit of research, which you should. There are some other species that are available. Carpet chameleons are great. They're like panther chameleons in care, but just smaller. So they're a really fun species to work with. But there's so little captive hatch going on. People are trying. They're working on it. So that availability will increase in the future. It's just a great chameleon species. So that would be my recommendation. Let's see. Abby Rad says, I will definitely put in another bid. Abby, I have put in multiple bins. I've had females that have been so finicky that I have multiple potted plants, multiple bins. I have bins with plants planted in them. I have bins with rocks and rock face, and just providing all of those. I mean, I want a root ball with that plant I planted in. Just all those different varieties. Is sometimes, boy, they just need to find a place that they like, and it's it can be frustrating. I don't even think they know what it is. It's just like a dog when he wants to poop. He just gonna go into circles, and he knows the right place. I don't know how he knows the right place, but he does. Chameleon Collective says the dude. All right. So, hi, Bob. I don't know who. Are you talking to me? I would be Bill. I have noticed that Ramba has desire to drink more. The heat has gone up again. Spain, is that because of? When the heat goes up, they'll definitely want more hydration because they will lose hydration with heat, just like everybody else. They will. When you guys went grasshopper hunting, did you catch them to feed to your chameleons or to start your own? I just fed mine. I only got 3, so I'm not gonna. I was not going to bring home a feast. It was early in the season. We were going. We have somebody who's very serious about grasshoppers, and he was doing some research. And he wanted to find, he was doing some study and research and stuff. So we came along as comic relief. That's pretty much what we did. Let's see. Oh, Matthew, don't worry. I'm absolutely no problem. You can call me anything you want. Eric, thank you very much for the super sticker. Appreciate the support. Baron Disaster has joined us. Hello. There we go. We have Liza Ann's update on my 2024 bug breeding projects. I've got waxworms and supers breeding, and wow, you've got a lot of stuff going on. I'm working on Dubia. Are you really saying that publicly? What if your husband watches my show? Okay. All right. But congratulations. It's a lot of fun getting all those feeders going. Um, all right. Beer and Disaster has an emergency rescue. Okay. Yes, if you have, the more breeding projects you have, the more you're going to tear your hair out. Josu Martinez, what area of California were you guys? We were around we were actually in Nevada. So we were by the California-Nevada border, somewhere around there. I actually don't know. I was just in the passenger seat and sleeping most of the time. And of course, Eliza Ann just wants to rub it in our face that she walks out her front yard and baby hoppers all over the place. Yeah. Dean was awesome. This is James. He was here with us. Dean was awesome with the information. I learned so much, and we were also there to make him. Yeah, me and James were essentially the comic relief there. Oh. Hello, Troy. Welcome. Some advice to feed him. Bear and Disaster. So here's something Baron's been in the chat talking about a chameleon that they bought and is in a bad situation. Sounds like a little bit dehydrated, but took 4 worms. All right, so the big thing with a chameleon that is having problems is usually hydration. So make sure you hydrate and overdo it every day. Just keep giving them a rain shower, making sure they're drinking. If you know fogging, you need to have them in a large cage. Well, okay, I don't know what condition this chameleon is in, so I will be able to only give very high level advice here. But the biggest thing is hydration. Once you get hydrated, then you can work on feeding. But it sounds like this chameleon's eating. So if this chameleon's eating, you are definitely not on a ground level. You're doing good. And the question is it captive hatch, wild caught? Check for parasites and see what's going on there. Reptilian 23 says, how often should I feed calcium to my chameleons? Oh, very good question. Very good question. And the answer is we don't know. I know where we're going. I mean, it's time for us to start figuring out how to remove supplementation from our feeding, from the diet of our chameleons. Supplementation came about because we were trying to figure out how to keep chameleons alive. This is back in the 80s, 90s. And we're constantly learning new things and trying to overcome some of the problems that we had. And supplementation really helped with that. We're feeding a lot of high phosphorus crickets, and so calcium helped with that. Adding some preformed vitamin A, that helped with making sure that there was no vitamin A deficiencies. We put in vitamin D3, and that was because we didn't have UVB lights back then. So we added all these things, and then we added UVB lights, and now we're adding a diversity of feeders, but we're not taking away the supplementation that we had in the first place to make up for the UVB lights not existing and the diversity not existing. And so eventually we are going to have to start slowly taking things out of our husbandry and seeing if we truly need them. Because if there was a time, long time ago, when we fed our chameleons things we caught naturally in our backyards, and they didn't get MBD. So This is saying we don't need all the supplementation we're giving. The reason why we don't take it away, just say, okay, we're done with it, is because we don't know what will break if we remove it. We've added all these things to our husbandry and we've got a level of success. And we rightfully are cautious about removing any one of those little Jenga pieces. We don't know what is necessary now. We're slowly removing vitamin D3, dietary vitamin D3. So we worked on that as a community, and we've gotten to the point where we know that if you give UV index of 3, you don't have to give dietary vitamin D3. Woo! We haven't figured out how we can remove dietary vitamin A, preformed vitamin A. We know that it can be done. I've done it for many years. I didn't have any preformed vitamin A. I didn't have any vitamin A deficiencies, but other people did. So what's the difference? Don't know. We still have to work that out. And when we do, we can remove that out. Calcium, that is mainly because we feed a lot of nocturnal insects, which are high in phosphorus. And so we're balancing that out. When can we take away, if we start doing grasshoppers and all sorts of grasshoppers and flies and diurnal insects, can we remove calcium? Good question. I think yes, but I am not going to tell people to do that until we've thoroughly tested it out. So the answer to your question is, I don't know if we can ever, I don't know when we can remove calcium from the diet. We are just going to have to slowly experiment, because I tell you right now, we supplement more than we need to, but I can't tell you which of those things is too much. So that's why we keep studying and keep experimenting here. Let's see. But Reptilian 23, to answer your question, and not the pontification that I just went through, is you can do it right now. The standard is to do it with every feeding. As long as your calcium doesn't have vitamin D3, and it's just plain calcium, you can do it every feeding. So that's the standard right now. I know it's too much, but I don't know at what point it's too little. So we just go with what's working. What is working? Hey, Lalo Lucho. Do you know if Dean Missimer will be coming to the San Jose Reptile Expo coming up? I don't know. You'd have to ask him. And you can go to feedmychameleons.com and send him a message and see. Yeah. Do you have any suggestions for switching up my chameleon's diet in Hawaii and not just feeding them the crickets? 808 Taj Furman. My suggestion would be for you to go catch natural insects in Hawaii. Now, obviously, I don't know if you're in the middle of the city, it may not be that easy, but you have the opportunity to give a wide variety of stuff that they stuff in nature, and so that's what I would suggest. You're probably not going to be able to find a whole lot of insect breeders in Hawaii, so go out and catch your own. And I know that's a lot of work, and I know that because that's what I did in the early days. I would run around with my net, and I would collect every day. I would collect food for my chameleons. I loved it. But you can do that if you have one chameleon. So, hello, Ashley. Welcome. Better late than never. Yeah. Bill, where can I find the 3D printable file for the fogger pipe holder? Is that publicly available? FPV Pablo, go to the Chameleon Academy Journal. That is the magazine, the digital magazine that I published, and it is in, I believe, the second issue. So you'll have to go and look through those issues. Go to chameleonacademy.com, and wait a minute. I think I can. What do you think? You guys think I can actually show? Let me see. I think I can do this. There we go. There we go. So we go ahead and take a look here at the journal. And these, let's see, I believe it is the second one. You guys seen the journal before? Oh, I love this. This is my passion project. Okay, let's go. Yeah, by the way, this if you guys haven't seen this before, there it is. This is the Chameleon Academy Journal. I love it. It's my digital magazine, and I'm going to get back to it. I have a huge project that I'm working on right now. I should be done soon, and I want to do it. Love to do another issue. But if you go to this October, November 2023 issue, and you go to 3D printing for reptile keepers, and there is your free download. So all you have to do is click this icon right here, and then you can download a file that allows you to print out a Fogger input. And then you just have to click here, this clickable link here, and that's going to be the screws that you need to get from Amazon. So, yay. And if you're interested in 3D printing, there's some basics. We talk about it. And lo and behold, this is the issue that has an article by Dean Missimer about what do wild chameleons eat. So if you enjoy the magazine experience, I did this because I love magazines and I love the magazine experience, and it's just cool. So that's where you can find the file. Let's see. JP Wood, my veiled is very chunky. She is a year old and she loves to eat. Am I feeding too much or is she fine? Well, if she's very chunky, you're probably feeding too much. You just cut back, and eventually the weight will go down. And so that's why. And watching your chameleon's weight is part of the husbandry. I know we love to feed, and what's important is just when you see that she's getting a little too big, you just pull back on the frequency of feeding. Feed 3 to 5 feeder insects every other day, and it should come down. Let's see. Not bragging about the hoppers at all, just trying to bribe you. Okay, James, road trip. It's time we go. Yay, great crowd watching tonight. Hit that like button. Yeah, look. Yeah, go ahead. Hit the like button, please. Let you two know that you should send people this way. Oh, I love that. Ian Cupsidus just experienced my first bite. And if you guys wanted to know, yes, it kind of hurts. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I mean, the Emerald Tree Boa people laugh at us, but still, these guys can draw blood. Cephicam, it takes, I don't know how many chameleons I have, and it takes a lot of time. That is true. I want to own chameleons, but I do not know how to get one in Istanbul. And Cephicam, that's going to be a tricky thing. Now, I think, let's do a quick check. Yeah, okay. So the European chameleon, Camaleo chameleon, actually is in Turkey. So that may be the best way to go about doing it. Yeah, I don't know how easy it would be for you to find one, and I don't know if they would be in pet shops. It's very difficult to send chameleons. It's not difficult. There's a lot of work to send chameleons across borders because chameleons are protected by the CITES, and that's an international trade agreement. And so there's a lot of paperwork if there's going to be chameleons going across borders. So it's not easy at all. You're just got to. The thing I would suggest you do is see if you can find other reptile lovers in Turkey, and you all pool your knowledge base and figure out how to work this, because you can get imports, and depending upon the market, it may be worth it. Bring in a couple of veiled chameleons. They are great they will breed easily. And in the past, I think I was asking your question before I answered your question before when you asked what's the best chameleon to get, and I said panther chameleon. That's in the United States. We have all that support in the United States. Where you are, if you're just starting a community there, the absolute best chameleon to get is a veiled chameleon. Yes, I don't know how you're going to do it because of the legalities, but the veiled chameleon is very hardy and it will reproduce. And so you will be able to create a chameleon community there. And the more of you that there are there, the more power you have. And by power, I mean ability to figure out how to get an import of whatever other species you think you would like. And so it's going to be difficult for you, but it's kind of an exciting thing to be at the start of a chameleon community there. So so it just depends on how serious you want to be on this and how much you want to put into this. It could be a very, very fun project. If I were in a country, I'd say I just found myself in a country right now that totally different, didn't have chameleons. That is a good question. What would I do? I would probably get veiled chameleons, and that's how I would start the community. My strategy would be to get a very hardy chameleon, breed it, send those off to people to get them interested in chameleons to the point where we would have enough people that we could pool resources and make it worthwhile to bring a shipment in and import in of various species. So you are close enough to Europe. There is so much available in Europe. The thing is, you don't want to bring in a lot of stuff, a lot of the rare and more delicate stuff until you've really figured out how to take care of chameleons. And so you could, if you're able to figure out all the ins and the outs of it, just figure out how to do an import in of veiled chameleons, because in Europe, you'd be able to find veiled chameleons and panther chameleons available. So you could have a very exciting next decade ahead of you if you want to pursue this. Let's see. They are here in Spain. If you get one here, you will be fined highly. Matthew, what do you mean? What do you mean about being fined in Spain? Are chameleons not available in Spain? Matthew, please let me know. I'm very interested in what's going on with chameleons in Spain and what the legalities are and why would you be fined. So, do you use calcium when feeding silkworms? What else have I? I do not use calcium when I feed silkworms. Like I said, I am doing less and less supplementation. I am still keeping, if you go on my website, I'm still keeping my supplementation schedules as they are, and I am not changing them. But personally, and because I don't want anybody else to do something and hurt their chameleon, because I'm experimenting, but I don't give calcium on my silkworms, and I'm really cutting down on a lot of supplementation across the board. Okay. Matthew said wild chameleon. So if you take one of the chameleon, then you get in trouble. Okay. I understand. All right. So it's okay if they're captive hatched, I imagine. Okay. Do not want to stress it with all the shipment process. Cephachan, it may actually be better to bring in captive hatched that are acclimated and don't have parasites than to try to bring in, find a chameleon in the wild and deparasitize it and acclimate it to captivity. Acclimating wild-caught chameleons is a huge job. I'm doing it right now. It's difficult. It takes a lot of time, and the chameleons get stressed easily. If you get a captive hatched chameleon, they have been in captivity all their life. Yes, they have something deep inside that says, big human thing will probably eat me, but also they know this big human thing brings them food. And so they're acclimated to humans to some extent. So, and the shipping process, as long as it's done right, as long as it's done overnight flight and all that, it's actually very successful. So, and the trip to Turkey is going from Europe is going to be a lot quicker than it is to the United States, and we've done it to the United States many times. So it's expensive, that's for sure. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, okay. Matthew's telling us about Spain. The others, you have to have a certificate. The laws have changed recently. Having a reptile in general is a touchy situation. Okay. Captive hatched, difficult. Michael Madden saying, any advice for someone who can't afford solar meter? Is it likely to ever get a bad bulb? Oh, Michael, the odds are that you will get a good bulb, but you could get a bad bulb and not know it. And so even if you follow the charts that I have, and saying the distance, you may not get a bulb. And there was a funny thing. I was on doing a YouTube video about how you should check your lights, and so I was on video going. So I'm just doing a routine check to show how I use my solar meter, and I went in and I found out that the light was bad there live on film. And of course, I didn't plan that. I wanted to show routine checks, but I inadvertently showed why it's so important to do those checks, because, and I still don't know why that bulb failed, but there you go. It wasn't 6 months old. So yeah, there's no substitute for having a solar meter to where you can measure the UVB. It just isn't. I wish there was. There's not. Yeah. I mean, as soon as somebody can figure out how to get us a meter that is reliable and works for less than $225, I'm sure we'll be all happy. But I would say, what I would say, once you get your Chameleon set up properly, the two things that is next in line is number one is getting a solar meter. Number two is getting a microscope. And those are my two. I don't know. I have the bills list or something like that. I don't know. Let's see. Lisanne's got to hop off. Bye. Any possibility of getting 1-year-old panther to eat dubias? He doesn't seem to like them. Mark, that's difficult because chameleons, either they like dubia or they don't. And it's difficult to change their mind. Now, you can use hunger to influence them. If you don't feed anything else, after a number of days, their standards will drop. But you don't know what it is about the dubia that they don't like. It could be that it really tastes bad to certain chameleons, like broccoli tastes different to people. So you don't, I don't know if forcing them using hunger to get them to like dubia, you know what? It should be fine. Maybe I'm just being oversensitive, but yeah, you just skip a couple of meals, skip 2 meals, and then offer them a dubia and see what happens. That's one way that they slowly can develop a taste for dubia, and I hope it's just like, I wonder if some chameleons it tastes really bad to them. I don't know. Don't know. Guns and Choke, thank you very much for the support. Hey, Bill, when the eggs hatch, is there a specific feeding supplement you're going to use for those animals different from your usual way? No, me personally, with my brevicorn here, actually with the brevicorn, I'm going to be very careful with the supplementation. The Kaluma, they aren't. I think it's unfortunate that we have developed so much of our husbandry around veiled chameleons and panther chameleons, because those are much more. They can put up with a lot more bad husbandry than other chameleons. Like Jackson's chameleons, you give them bad husbandry that's off, they're going to slowly wither away. Other like the Kalumas are a lot more sensitive to all this shenanigans. So as we advance as chameleon keepers, we need to realize that a lot of the husbandry that we have that we're relying on is old husbandry that hasn't been changed. So a lot of things have changed, but not everything changes along with, like the lighting. A lot of our husbandry that we put together, and we believe is absolutely true, was set in place before we had UVB lighting. So, we got to start taking things away that aren't necessary anymore. So, me personally, I am going to be doing a basic supplementation. And I don't know what that means yet. I've got babies. When they come of age or hatch, I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do. But I'm certainly not going to give them a whole lot of supplementation. False alarm. We were waiting to go get ice cream. Oh, that's important. That is important. Yeah. All right. Now everybody's talking about ice cream. One of these days I'll get Uber Eats so I can send you some. Yes, please. We all need that. Hello, Patrick. Patrick is always so excited to be here. Thank you for coming here and sharing your enthusiasm. Jen Bug. Hello, Jen Bug. Finally caught alive. Glad to have you here. My guy was delayed and he was fined a little over 48 hours in the dogs. Oh, wait, Genevieve's got to go. Goodbye, Genevieve. Glad to have you here. Glad you joined. Okay. Yes. So this is the nightmare of shipping chameleons. Shipping chameleons is generally fine. We put them in a box that gets dark. They go to sleep. And then they wake up on the other side when you open the box. And it's just a stormy night for them as they are traveling through the mail. But then things can happen. And apparently something happened to Moto Nick's guy to where he was delayed. And this is actually interesting that a delay of a day doesn't seem to hurt them much, as long as they are healthy when they go in and they're not left on a tarmac in the sun. If they are in a FedEx office, they do just fine. It's like, okay, I guess they're going to have an extra long night. So, yeah, this is, you pack them right, they'll actually survive just fine. So it all depends on what the delay is about and where it's delayed. Generally speaking, when we're doing this overnight stuff, we take the chameleon to the FedEx office, to the hub at around 5 o'clock. And that's so the sun is going down and it's delivered to FedEx, the FedEx hub on the other end at 9 o'clock before the sun is up. And that works great. That's why we don't want to deliver to your home. So if you're ordering a chameleon, insist that you pick it up at the hub. Don't get it delivered to your house, because that drive in the van between the FedEx location and your house is the most dangerous part of the entire journey. Bar none. It is so dangerous. Most breeders, at least the ones that I know, they refuse to have it dropped off at your door. You have to go pick it up at the hub. And as a chameleon guy, I insist. There have been times that I've had to drive an hour to get to the hub. And, it's either me drive an hour to go to the hub, or else it's your chameleon is in with the FedEx driver circling around the entire city multiple times before they get to your door. And as inconvenient as it is for you, that driver isn't necessarily keeping that box of your chameleon in the best place. And then leaving at your door, if the sun hits that box, your chameleon's toast. So I highly encourage everyone, if your breeder is saying that they will send to your doorstep, refuse it. Figure out where your hub is and go and pick it up at the hub. Take the day off from work. It's worth it. This little guy is going to be with you for 5-7 years if you do it right, and hopefully you're going to do it right. So, take the day off from work. Enjoy going and picking up your guy and bringing him home and getting him settled in. And that doesn't mean hold him and play with him. That means get him out of the box into his new home and sit back and watch as he figures it out. Now, you're going to see him climb all over the place and be this frenetic energy. That's normal. He'll calm down by the next day. So that's hello, Robert's channel. That's right. Just held a baby veiled chameleon at PetSmart. Yep. Veils are awesome. Oh boy, Eliza Ann. No, don't let another veiled chameleon take up Shamrock room. Talking about Shamrock chameleons. That's the Kluma O'Shaughnessy that we're working on breeding here. Take a while. That's a long-term project here. Let's see. Mine have been shipped in 24 hours within Oregon. Luckily, my FedEx hub is 20 minutes from my. Yeah, when you got a FedEx hub that's close to you, oh, you're sitting nice. Yeah. See, Anaballistic, same here. I've had them shipped. James is in California. Have shipped them from Florida, 24 hours. Picked them up at 9 o'clock in the morning, about 30 minutes from my house. That works. All right, Eliza is holding steady until the shamrocks are available. Let's see. A good Solometer, how much is it and what brand? Matthew, Solometer 6.5. That is right now. That is the only one that is approved. By approved, I mean of all the people in the reptile world. That's the only one that works. And it's not because of brand loyalty. It's because that's literally it's a scientific instrument. And that is the only one that we have coalesced around and said, yep, this is the one we trust. Let's see. And somebody's asking, would a panther be fine having a nighttime drop to 68? Yeah, I tried to get them a lot lower than that. Maybe not a lot. I like to get them into the low 60s. So, but it's not too cold. I'm actually worrying about it being too warm. I'm on a plant ban. Oh, no. Oh, no, but Annabelle, you get such nice allocations. I love watching you get those new allocations. All right, everybody, we are coming to the end of the show today. And I want to say thank you very much for joining. Do you have any last questions? It's been wonderful having you all here. The next time, the show schedule, tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., we're going to have a DIY Chameleon Guys. If you want to get up and be there live when we're in the chat on YouTube, the Chameleon Academy YouTube channel, that'll be there. Of course, you can watch it anytime after that, but we just won't have a live chat. It's only during the first showing at 5 a.m. Pacific. And then this Saturday at 12 noon, we're going to be having the Chameleons and Coffee, another live show to where you can come hang out with the chameleon community, ask questions, and do exactly what we're doing now, except it's with a Saturday feel to it. And then James says, I'm always being banned. James is always on some sort of ban. Just beg forgiveness or accidentally let them fall into the cage. Oh, boy. I'm sorry. Bans are no fun, but necessary because I have no impulse control. Oh, boy. What would be a good nighttime drop? I let them down into the low 60s. for a panther chameleon. That's what I thought. So, all right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining here. And I will say goodbye. Have a great week. And I'll see all of you who are absolutely dedicated tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Pacific. See you later.